Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today or catching us on the replay. So, this is Melissa and Dr. Thomas with Consciousness Conversation, and we have a special event today. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it since we talked about the topic, and the topic is going to be Dr. Thomas telling us a story.
I tell stories. I tell stories
Yes.
as my life falls down again.
I was going to say with a little technical difficulty, but that's okay.
Right, this time it just fell down on top of me. All right. So well, welcome. And give us a second here so we can share us out the way people know we're actually on and we're not just hearing all that good stuff.
Right.
Like apparently we want to be on, want people to have a conversation with us, but we're gonna. So prior to even us getting on, Melissa and I were talking, and she brought up some things. I'm not going to go through. I'll share them. Don't worry. She'll be like, "What?" I'm like, "We will get to that topic because we will." That's why we're talking, and she's saying stuff, and I'm like, "All right, it's time out. Turn this on. Let's go live."
She did.
We will get to it when we're ready to get to it. Just trying the live so I can share it.
No, that's okay. I'm doing it. You can keep talking.
So, what are we going to talk about today? Who's gonna? I don't know who's gonna. I'm gonna come through first. All right. This is February. Let me try to explain things. January 1st is New Year's, according to the world, just because we picked a day. Okay, that's the day they decided New Year's is gonna be. That's when we celebrate it. There is no such thing as New Year's and all that stuff. But what I'm gonna say is, it's more like now. It's around now that we really start the transition and change. I know, I'm going back and forth there. It's about now that we can start the transition and change. You feel a strong energy right now. If you're an empath, right now it is strong for you. You might have headaches. You might fatigue. You might be like depressed. You might be anxious. You're feeling so much. There's a heaviness around. Melissa has been saying this for a while. He has not contradicted it for a reason. Nor have we. March, May, April, all those months, that is a big time. A good time. And we have to get there. We talked about the years before being years of revelation, of this change that was happening, these things are coming out. We're still in a little revelation, but we're in a recovery. We are in these final days. And February is like a bigger transition month. Hence, it's only 28 days. You keep it shorter. See that it works out. So we tell you a story. He can tell a story. We'll let him talk. So, for me, Februarys have been very tough. Ever since the past 7 years, 6 years, whatever it was. It began, and then last year the cycle ended. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details, but I'm going to share one story. We'll share a second story. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to tell it again because this is so important for right now.
Yeah.
It's so important for what we're doing, for what we want. In February of 2021, I was, how do I put this in the best way possible? I had just learned some stuff. I was literally told to see this person I'd never met before. Lo and behold, I reached out to this person like in December, like 23rd. I'm like, hey, you don't know me, but I had this dream and they told me you're my creator. So we might want to talk. All right, now, seriously, if someone reached out to you on Facebook, I mean, I know, yes, women, I get it, ladies. You're always like, all these guys reach out to me saying, hey, you're sexy and beautiful. Don't you want my number? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I reach out to women or people like, hey, I was told you're my creator. We should talk. Well, that person replied and said, yeah, we should. And we did. And she aligned a lot of things up for me. And I knew what I had to start doing. But, I was a guy and I was, hey, let's still, I can date. Let's see if I can find anyone to date you and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I had a session with someone and I asked the question, because I knew what I did. I asked the question, do my guys want me to have a message for me? I was still a novice and still thinking the old way. I get it. Yeah, they're laughing at me. And they said, oh, my Reiki says to me with this look on her face, he goes, oh my goodness, you've got a new guide. I've never seen this guy with you before. And I knew exactly, I had done what I needed to do to get it. And when you do that, an additional guide will come in. But this guy was dry humor, was a scientist, dressed in a lab coat. And he's like, no, we've got work to do. We've got work to do. Let's get going. I knew exactly what he said. He was saying, stop trying to date people. Stop trying to look for that. Let's work with us, and then it'll come to you. So that night, after I get done with it, I was already running late. So I actually had a date, and I messaged that person and said, you know what? Let's cancel. I'm being good. They're telling me to cancel. I'm going to cancel. She goes, oh, don't worry. I can come closer to you. I'm like, oh. It's like, fine. I'm a nice guy. We meet up closer. Now, I followed all the protocols. Didn't do anything. Just whatever. I get home, and the next day, I'm sitting there, and I'm doing whatever, and I'm like, I got COVID. I got COVID. Everything was telling me I was perfectly fine and healthy. I got COVID. I had no idea how I got it. I did nothing wrong. Followed all the protocols. But I knew I had it. And 2 days later, I was sick. Thought it was a cold because, it was wishful thinking there. But then 2 days later, my oldest got tested positive. So then we all knew I had COVID. Well, a few days later, I was so sick. I was waking up in the bathroom, coughing so hard that I was throwing up. I was turning on the water just to have just to be able to just have some peace. Laying on the bathroom floor. Happened multiple days in a row. I couldn't get out of bed. Finally, during the Super Bowl, my ex says, I'm taking you to the freaking ER. Like, okay. So I go to the ER. We're there. They look at me, they test me, and they're like, yeah, we're pretty sure you got COVID. Let's give you a chest x-ray to find out. They get the chest x-ray. They come back and they're like, yeah, so you've got, your lungs are completely full. You clearly have COVID. But do you know about these 2 spots in your chest? I'm like, oh yeah, they told me something like that a year and a half ago. Said I might have something there. And the doctor never followed up with me, so I just let it go. She goes, yeah, you need to get that taken a look at. It's probably like a tumor or something. So I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there, and I'm laying there. I'm dead to the world. And like, all right, we're going to send you home. I'm like, you're sending me home? What the? And they go, well, unless you have a reason to stay, basically saying, wink, wink, if you're being abused at home, tell us now. We'll keep you here. I'm like, no. Clearly, I know what was happening. Right before I arrived, the sheet pizzas and the chicken wings showed up, and they were having a Super Bowl party. They didn't want to deal with me. They wanted their wings and pizza. So they sent me home. The next day, it all repeated. It was all just as bad. So like, my ex is like, I'm taking you back to the ER. So you go back to the ER during the day, and this time they say, you were here yesterday. Here's your choices. We can admit you, put you in a room, watch you, maybe give you some medicine and see what happens, or you can go home and just, let it pass. I'm like, give me a room. I'm in the room. If I close my eyes when I'm in the room at this point, the colors I am seeing are so vibrant and beautiful. I couldn't close my eyes. The next morning I wake up and I had to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. Somehow I make it to the bathroom. Like walking the 5 feet to get there. I couldn't get out. So eventually, no one ever goes into the bathroom at the hospital saying, I'm going to go pull the cord. I pulled the freaking cord. Now, I was standing there, leaning against the wall. I couldn't make it from the wall to the 5 to 3 feet back to the bed. That's why I pulled the cord. I get there. They can't come into the room without all the proper protection gear on. So finally one of them comes in. I'm coughing, barely able to breathe. I can't even get the oximeter on me. It's in the 70s maybe. They know I'm a big issue right now. They come to me and said, all right, we're moving you to the ICU. We're going to give you this drug, and then there's an experimental drug we'll give you. We'll see what happens. But some of these patients, after 5 or 6 days, they start to feel a little better. And ideally around day 20, you get to go home. So now imagine this. My whole family, 1, they know I'm in the hospital with COVID. 2, they know I'm about to go to the ICU. 3, they know I have a tumor or some cancer or something inside my chest. Not just my immediate family, but my whole family now is knowing all this. I get to the ICU. And they say, we might put you on a ventilator. Like, if you don't improve real fast and soon, we're putting you on a ventilator. Now, things have happened. I had something jump into me at one point. I was seeing colors. I eventually had to get certain crystals and put up a protection around my room and say, no, not right now. But then I started thinking, why am I here? And the light bulb went off. What happened before this all started? I was told we had work to do. And I know very well that if I didn't shut down, I would not have gotten the work done. So I'm laying there in my bed, and I'm like, not swearing, like, I get it. It's time to get to work. And I started with me. I don't remember much of day 3 or 4. But I can tell you this much. I wasn't worried. I wasn't afraid. I was smiling. Doctors would come in and say, yeah, whatever you need to do. I know, whatever. Day 9, they wanted to send me home. The doctor finally said, yeah, I'm going to keep you 1 more night. I want to ensure your oxygen levels are at level. I went home on day 10. They were supposed to keep me there for 20 days. I went home on day 10. I was this close to a ventilator. I was home on day 10. All that happened is it changed how I thought about what was going on in my life, what I was there for, and what was going to happen next in a positive way. Now, I'm fortunate. I was told, I knew I knew I was being shut down to begin doing my work. And I had a lot of work to do. I literally from the hospital, I was emailing people saying, "All right, I'm ready to go live as soon as I get out of here." Seriously. I was prepping. I was getting a series ready. I was getting all this data and information ready to go. I'm in the ICU. I'm not like in a regular room. I'm in the freaking ICU doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I chose it. And I chose to be at peace with it all. And once that choice was made, once I switched it over to the joy, the peace part of it, the love part of it, the acceptance part of it, the rest went fast. Yes, Stacia, I was in great spirits making everyone worry because everyone was worried, and they were, as you should be for someone going into the hospital for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for something like that, but having a tumor found. Okay, yet I was sitting there like, yeah, whatever, it's all gonna be fine. And I get out early, and I remember my first in-home visit with a nurse, and it's a teleconference visit, and she's talking to me. And she's like, "Oh my goodness, you're the best COVID patient I've ever had." I'm like, yeah, I know. No, granted, I could barely walk up 3 steps, not 3 flights of steps, 3 steps. I was crawling up these 3 steps. Couldn't move from my bedroom to any other room. I was so out of breath. I couldn't do any of that. But I kept myself in the right frame of mind. And for that, nothing was going to hurt me. I was coming out of this better than I was before. I was healthy. I was happy. I was going to be fine. And I was. Now let me add to this story, because why not? So then, starting in March, I went back to the gym. Yes, I know. We're talking just a few weeks. I went back to the gym. I couldn't do my normal stuff. And the trainer was giving me certain workouts, lighter workouts, and eventually started increasing them. But what he was doing was he was giving me workouts and saying, all right, do this routine and time yourself. And like a few weeks later, a month later, I repeat some of them, and I see the time difference. So I'm sharing this because I want to get to something else now. It was early May of that year. And I still couldn't breathe right, still couldn't cough right. I was coughing, couldn't work out the way I was before. I went to a yoga session where we just did chanting. I'd never chanted before. I could barely go 4 breaths, like with chanting, like I was like, By the time we got to 10 minutes into the 30-minute session, I was going 20 some seconds, 30 seconds. I was not just going longer, but I was leading it. And they were all feeling the energy. They literally commented to me afterwards, the energy was coming out. Now, here's the thing. The next day I went to the gym, I got a workout. We're only talking 20-some-minute workouts. I improved the time by 5 minutes. Then the day after that, I went for a run. My running pace was a minute plus faster than it was a week earlier. I had gone through healing through that way. So I had healed myself, and I had worked with healing myself with everything going on, with just the perspective I brought into it. I went to that. It got me better. And then, now I have this tumor to take care of. Honest. Here, guys, I'm showing you all this stuff. I have this tumor to take care of. Because the SAS is strong with this one, right, Stacia? See? I had a tumor. And the doctor's like, all right, it's B2, which means it could be cancerous. We might have to give you treatment now. All that stuff. I'm like, nope, don't worry about it. He's like, all right, if you want, I'll do one more CT scan, see how it's doing, but you need to set this up right now. I'm like, okay, whatever. Now this doctor is a friend of my cousin. He's one of the top in the area, period. Literally get back from a vacation. He calls me up. He goes, why have you not set up this appointment yet? He calls his nurse to set everything up for me in 2 different cities to set it up. I was doing this in Buffalo. He was so worried. He called me on his cell phone at night. Are you okay? Are you coming in? We've got to set it up for you. I get there. They take it out and it actually increased, almost doubled in size. From the time that I had the first initial scans done to, from the time that I had it done in early May to June, and within a month it had doubled in size. Not doubled prior to then. In a month it doubled in size. I'm not going to go into that. I know what happened around that time. I was around a low vibrational energy that was connected to me from the past that increased it. So it comes out. He's like, it's bigger. I'm like, okay. I'm still perfectly fine, whatever. Yes, he told me not to run or work out for at least days. I did try jogging and I got slapped by a slipper by my mom. But I was still all positive and happy through the whole process.
So let's talk about that, your perspective. What were you doing to keep your positivity? Was it an internal positivity shift, or were you doing practices to help your positivity?
I knew whatever was happening was because I wanted it to happen, because it was supposed to happen for me, and it was all part of my highest and greatest good.
So let's step back, because at the beginning of this, it all kicked off with you going on that date that you were told not to go on and got COVID from a friend, or that you wouldn't have gotten COVID from had you listened to your inspiration. So taking it back that far, like, would you listen? Like, if you had to do it over, would you listen to yourself and not go, or would you want to go on this journey?
It's not let's think about the idea of change. The world must change, but change does not happen when you're told change. Change only happens when you go through the change and you see it. We think about it. I could go back to World War II with Hitler. Mm. The world was on the path of destruction. It was on the path of not continuing, the wrong path. We needed that to happen so that we would stop and look at ourselves and say, oh, shit, we need to change. And the world started changing. After that war, you had the movement of love. New rules came into place. We kind of stopped some of the building of the bad things. But there was a shift. The shift had to happen from a major event worldwide. Trump being president, it had to happen. Whether you like it or not, he was a change agent. What he exposed in this world, we are all seeing. Do you know what is happening? Love. We are choosing love over war. We are choosing love over hatred. But before then, we did not see it. It was hidden from all of us. It was hidden in plain sight. And all of a sudden, people started feeling comfortable to speak out the hate. And then everyone realized, oh, we do have a problem. And you know who realized it better than anyone else? The young ones. Mm. And they are our future leaders. They're the ones coming up next. And they are about the love. And so all this is happening for the change for him. For him, he was in a phase where he needed pushing. He needed prodding. He needed to be shown the evidence and the facts. When we literally had to tell him, go see Sheila. Okay? We had to say, Sheila, see her. We had to, and he wouldn't listen to it without that. He had to be shown things. He had to be forced into the COVID. It wasn't from anyone. We gave it to him. He had to be forced to see it, to sit down and realize the light falls down. He had to realize all that. Through the light. He had to realize that. Now can I answer? Now, there is nothing I would change differently. There's nothing any of us would ever want to change differently. I had to go through that story so I could tell that story. I had to go through that show to show people that if you have the right attitude and you have a mind full of peace, that the body can heal itself with peace, with joy, with happiness. And the science has all proven that to be true. I had to go through the tumor for the same reason. To show I was running a mile in 8 minutes just over a week after having major heart surgery. That's not normal. The doctor looked at me and was like, "You did what?" And then he looked at me and he said, "You were right the whole time." Because it went from B2, which is almost cancerous, to AB, which is not an issue. It went from B2, cancerous, to after I went through this and with all peace and happiness and it expanded, it went to AB.
I love it.
It changed. But anything we go through, it requires change. So that's where we're at right now in this world. In this world, we are going through another change. We have been. And it is different right now. So I'm going to say this because it's been given to me 4 times during meditations this week. If you are an empath, if you are someone that is connected to other people and their energies, connected to the earth, connected to other people in this world, and you can feel what they feel. You can feel the emotions of the whole planet. First, thank you. You are loved for doing that. Second, within your heart, open it up for love. Send out in your energy field a ball of love and light all around you. That is what we need. Right now, more than anything, we need you to be love. Don't worry about that which is happening in the world. That is our responsibility. We've got it. You need to hold the light strong and need to be in the love and the light because that is your role. And we got the dark. So know that we've got it. And they are fighting, but we've got it. So be in love, be in peace, because that is how he healed, how he got through it in a quicker time period. Think about it, in a quicker time frame, was doing things he couldn't imagine quickly, out to the hospital in 10 days after almost being dead on a ventilator. Having the tumor be doubled in size, yet running a mile in 8 minutes a week later. That doesn't happen when you worry and you fear. That extends the time that it takes. And so what we really need now is we need you to be in love. Don't put up protection. Don't say, darkness can't come near me. Bring out love, because then it can't touch you. Because anything that comes closer to you is first hit with the beam of love. And they are cleansed. So live in the love. Be in the peace. Acknowledge that's what you fear, that what you see. You fear, you hear something. We go back to the idea of compassion with the Essenes in Jesus. And what they talked about compassion was you acknowledge what you are seeing. The pains of you acknowledge. You can send them love. You acknowledge you're seeing it for a reason. And you're just going to live in love and not let the worry of the world take you down. Because it's only going to slow how long it takes for it all to be over. If that makes sense, because it is truth. We've got it. We need you to be beautiful loves. These spheres of loves that, when put together, light up the whole world. And the beacons of love and light will vibrate very strong. And the whole thing will be over faster. It's a change we're going through right now. A beautiful change. A beautiful change. But we must go through it to see the rainbows at the end. That's what you say, right? The rainbow at the end of the storm?
Yes.
That's what we're going for. That's what you're going to get. That's what he got. He went through that. And then even last February, he went through all the crap again. It was even better, though. Here, the result wasn't better. It was like a triple rainbow at the end. A triple rainbow. Think about that. But the pot of gold was there. When you go through it, know that whatever is happening in your life, it is for your highest and greatest good. Let me repeat. Whatever is happening in your life is for your highest and greatest good. And if you listen to your soul, you will see it easier. For him, we had to tell him so he could connect the dots and be like, oh shit, that is why it's happening. I'm all fine and safe. There we go. He needed that. So then he could teach it to you. That if you have it and you know it, why it's happening, you yourself will be wonderful. You will be wonderful. You will be happy.
Thank you.
See, Stacia's laughing at me now with the smiley faces.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
So I don't even know why we were talking about that, but
because I think it's needed. Because I think that, we are, the highest vibrational frequency of the universe, is love, and it can change and move mountains, but we have to believe it. And I think that your story really demonstrates there's merit and truth in that. And many people aren't able to experience it because they are vibrating in the lower frequencies that are keeping them in ill health or dis-ease. So
let me add to this, because this is going to go back to what we were talking about before we even came on.
Oh, okay.
You can't be in a situation like that. So when you are in any, I'm going to talk, all right. When you're in any situation, being in love and peace and light, knowing everything's going to be okay, knowing that it's happening for a reason is great. The struggle and the challenge is when we expand it all into 1,000 little things we are now worrying about. We overload our plates. Next thing you know, we're asking for this, this, and this, and someone else is getting it. Because we're asking for this, 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 and this. So we're requesting all these things to happen, and you're seeing around you, oh, all these people are getting great jobs. Where's mine? Well, you're requesting this and this and that and this. And so it's going out there in the energy, and other people are coming by and getting caught in your energy, and you're sending all energy to them. So now all of a sudden, as you're sending energy and healing energy to them, that nice brand new car is coming off your plate and being thrust to them, because you're now you're balancing too many things. Too many things. What is too many things? Too many things is all relative to what you can handle, what you can think of. Because we always are balancing lots of things. So I would recommend, this is how part of what helped me with what I was going through. When I was in the hospital, I wasn't focusing about how am I going to pay the next bill, or what's going to happen with this. I was focusing on, it's all going to be great. What's next? What am I going to do next? And then going back to the basics, financial freedom, healthy, and those things weren't coming. And that's what I was putting out there. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm sitting in bed here. All right, now if we're working out, I do this, and then I got to take care of this, I got to take care of this. The more you start putting on your plate, the heavier it gets and the harder it is to manifest. Until, I will say, until you are at the right point. When you are at a point where you are fully balanced, cleansed, and clear, and happy with everything in your life. I mean, not perfectly happy, but you've got it all lined. It can be like popcorn. You think of it, it's there. Think of it's there. Yes, I know people that do that. But often if we are spreading it and putting our intentions and our energies in multiple people, it's I heard this last night. It was very wise. They don't know what money is. They don't know what a car is. They don't know why you need it. They just push you to where you're going. Okay, Melissa, you want to do, or you want to do this stuff? Okay, do it. But you got to tell them, hey, I need money to be able to do this. I need money flowing in order to be able to do what you want me to do. Oh, you need it? Okay. That's a human thing. That's an earth thing. It's not, there's no currency elsewhere. So some of these things also are, you do need to be clear. I mean, Stacey always will harass me on this and say this. Be careful of your words.
Yeah.
Be clear of your intentions.
Yeah.
If you want something, say, I need this. I need to bring it to me because you know what? Not only does it feel good, but by doing this, it's going to help me out. Now I'm going to add to help me on my journey. It's going to help me be able to build my journey forward. And then they're like, oh, really? We didn't realize that. We just thought you wanted it. Okay. It adds more of a meaning to everyone involved because truly, your guides are not human.
No.
They don't feel the emotions you feel.
No. And some of them have never incarnated.
Mm-hmm.
So then they really have no concept.
Mm-hmm. And it's tough to think, why would they not know about money? Well, because they don't use it.
Right.
Like, they don't go to the bathroom. It's not like, oh, we got to take a coffee break now. No, they're just there. They're just there. Like, animals don't think about money. We do. Because it's been ingrained into our society and how we are currently expected to live. I can talk forever. I know we're at 38 minutes, and I just blabbered on for like 40 of those 38 minutes.
You did not. Stop it. No, that was very valuable. I think that was a very valuable story and idea and concept. And I love that it's personal experience. So it's not, I don't want to say refutable, but you can say, I've lived this. And I think that's really powerful. So I really appreciate you, being vulnerable with us and sharing that, because that's really, really, I think, beneficial, especially for those who struggle with health and struggle with money, which can be two very human concepts that we may not recognize, as much as it is a vibration and it is something that we can absolutely positively impact in a way in which we're not used to. So thank you. All right, guys, have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for being here with us, and we thank each and every one of you.
If people haven't, this month, last month I talked on my YouTube page about fear and the balance and how to balance fear and actually the cure for fear. This month I'm talking about ego and soul. And then today I was called and I actually talked it more than I channeled it. A really good message. I mean, there's a lot to think about with the ego and the soul. There really, 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 really is. And so if you haven't, I believe Melissa put it in the opening, but my YouTube page at TDI PhD, watch it. It's only 20 minutes. Most of them are only 15, 20 minutes, but that one, there's some good ones, but that one in particular is helpful for everyone. Because as we go along, we all have our own biases that then drive the ego, and the ego drives most of our ships. Which makes the people that live out of the soul outcasts. Makes us appear different. Because we don't fit the mold that the ego has established. You want to be an outcast. This month I'll be teaching how to become the outcast as a soul, listening to your soul. But today's was a good one for everyone to hear. Just reflect on their own life and where they are and who they are. Now, that's all I've got to say. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go to bed.
Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Yes, and as he mentioned, the links for more information on each of us are in the description box, guys. Have a beautiful rest of your week. We'll talk soon.